Now, the curiosity around the alleged discovery of aliens on Earth is at its peak. Speculations are rife, theories are pouring in. Are these real signs of extraterrestrial life? Conspiracy theorists are in overdrive. So what do we make of these recent discoveries? This also coincides with NASA presenting its findings from probes into UFOs. Though they say there isn't any concrete evidence yet, they've not ruled out the possibility of extraterrestrial life either. And of course, that's done little to put this debate to rest. To discuss this further, we're being joined live by Julieta Fierro from the Institute of Astronomy at Mexico's National University. Thank you so much for joining us on WION.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Now, my first question to you. The claims made in the Mexican congressional hearings are extraordinary if true. Apparently, the genetic data of the specimen is also in public. How can scientists prove if it's true, and how long do you reckon that would take?
No, it has nothing of truth. This person is a well-known person that always speaks about the way he has met aliens and they talk to him, and he just goes on and on and on. And since the Americans had the Congress people talk about UFOs, well, he decided to do the same thing in Mexico, but he had to do it even more interesting. So he took these supposedly aliens to Congress, but they looked like dolls, basically. And he said he had sent pieces of these aliens to be analyzed by scientists, but the results of the scientists do not indicate they have nothing to do with extraterrestrial life. They have compounds that are well known in living things on Earth.
All right. Now, just to understand this better, in astronomy, the Fermi paradox is very popular, which talks about the probability of finding life in the universe. How would such a discovery change the way humans look at the world?
Well, look, 500 years ago, Giordano Bruno in Italy thought that there might be people living elsewhere, life elsewhere, and he was burned at the stake for saying this. But ever since, well, astronomers have been looking for life elsewhere. And at least Mexico has a telescope dedicated to looking for extrasolar planets, and the James Webb telescope that was started to be thought about 30 years ago is in order to study the furthest objects in the universe, changed its design when extrasolar planets were discovered. And so the James Webb wants to analyze atmospheres of planets that are similar to Earth to find out if we find life there and if it could be intelligent life. And of course, astronomers throughout the world have been looking for life in Mars and in several of the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, where there is ice that covers oceans, and this ice have cracks in them where hazers throw organic matter into space. So there might be life in other places in our solar system, not only far away. And these planets that have been found that have atmospheres that resemble those that are on Earth, well, are very far away. That's a problem. One of them is 100 light years away from us. So your program will reach them in 100 years. And if they answer you, you'll have the answer hundreds of years later. So the problem in astronomy isn't that we don't believe there's life somewhere else. The problem is how to contact it.
All right. NASA says that till now they found nothing to link UFOs to any aliens, asserting that most of these sightings could be easily explained rationally. What would you say were some of the factors or are for scenarios that could have led to such sightings, which are then considered signs of alien presence?
No, the problem has nothing to do with aliens nor with UFOs. When the American army captured bin Laden, the strategy to capture him was kept secret from some of the military. And the militaries were very upset, the high-ranking militaries, because there was no transparency in the government. And so they made up this thing about going to Congress and talking about UFOs, just to guarantee there was transparency in the army, because they were very upset. The people that went were retired generals. This happened a long time ago, but they still felt military needed more transparency, at least amongst the highest-ranking personnel. And they use the UFOs for a reason to study this problem about transparency. So what the Congress did, which I think is a very good idea, was ask for NASA to talk about UFOs. And as you know, science is open to the world. The discoveries that astronomers make are open. Science is international. We work in groups, we all collaborate, and all the data are public. I mean, anyone can go and mine the data that astronomers find. So the governments, the United States government, thought it's better for NASA to study these UFOs. And NASA found nothing at all. All the pictures could be interpreted as different things. The problem is the following. If I asked you, when you watch a mosquito moving in front of your face, how fast is it moving? Well, it's hard to tell. Or how fast is the moon moving? Who moves faster, the mosquito or the moon? If you don't know the distance towards an object, and you don't use a radar to measure the distance nor the velocity, you don't know if it's a great big object that's moving very fast or a minute object that's moving relatively slower, but it's so near you, it seems to be moving fast. So many of these pictures that have been shown have no foundation. So I think NASA's idea is very good. They're asking people, now that everyone has iPhones, if they see something strange in the sky, please take a picture or a video, but tell us from where you took the picture. And maybe other people also took the picture, and if we have all these images, we could have data enough to determine what that object is, which I think is great. It's great for the public to collaborate and to find out what these things are. Many of these things are just garbage that is thrown from space to Earth. Imagine the International Space Station, the amount of diapers they use every day. And all this junk is just thrown back into Earth, and it gets so hot when it's going through the atmosphere, it burns and it falls into the ocean, completely disintegrated.
Right.
And the same happens with leftover stuff from satellites. They just send it into Earth. And many of these things we see, like lights in the sky, are just garbage.
All right. Well, in fact, I was just going to come to this. There are a lot of conspiracy theories around such alleged discoveries or sightings that have been recorded in the past as well. What's your assessment? Do you think a committee or a transparent probe can help demystify some of this misinformation or the confusion with regards to this?
Yes, well, the military have to conceal information because many of it is strategic. During wartime, for instance, they can't make public what they're doing because it has to be secret. But fortunately, science isn't secret. So we can all study together data, and whoever has the suspicion that they found an ovni, flying object or whatever, they can always have NASA people or scientists come and study it and discover what it really is. And that's what science is all about. Science is all about facts, data, analyzing, having many people discuss about topics, and that's the way science advances. It's not just an idea somebody has and they make it public. Science is different.
Right.
And it's transparent, which is great.
Right. Well, Ms. Julieta Fierro, thank you so much for joining us on WION with your insights on this.
My pleasure. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.